So, I know this is going to be about tooting my own horn, and that's okay. Because, and you know what, Royce? We've been trying to get off of the Howard thing. We've been trying to slowly wean ourselves off of talking about Howard Stern because nobody is listening to him anymore. And the only people who listen to him are those that got duped into subscribing for Sirius for the promises that Howard made, and yet now he's down to 3 days a week. Although apparently, as told to me by Monique from Radio Gunk, he insists that he's still working, even though he's only working physically 3 days a week because he thinks about his show every single day. So apparently he's making all that big money so he could think about his show. Okay, so now I understand what. Okay. It's just such a load of shit. Apparently he says that they have a Thursday morning meeting at 8:00, but he's not even there.
So all that thinking he was doing on the Infinity show at night he was doing that for free.
Oh yeah, yes, and now he's thinking nonstop about the pathetic show that he has right now.
I keep thinking, but nothing's happening.
Now, I just don't. I know that he might be baiting me because obviously we both know Royce, and I think any of the Melenders knows, anybody who has half a brain knows that Fafa Flohai listens to this show when it's feeding time for him at the zoo. We know.
You don't know if he's listening while he's feeding.
Yeah, because he wouldn't be able to hear over that kind of chomping.
I also don't think he can multitask.
No, that's true, too. That's a good point. But I know, let's just say hi to Gary. Hey, Gary. Go ahead, Roy. Say hi to Gary.
Hi, Fla Fla.
Hey, man. Hey, fellow Adelphi graduate.
I didn't say that.
I know. No, I went to a real college, NYU, but don't worry, Baba Booey. I didn't mean that as...
we used to call that NY useless.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, they always have a nickname. When I went to Nassau, it was Turnpike Tech or the 13th grade. Every college has one. Anyway, getting back to the issue. So we know that Baba Booey and the Stern faithful listen to this podcast, and they feed the Stern Show with information and things that are said on this podcast. I think that would not be a delusional thing to say. I think that would be an accurate assessment of what is going on.
Well, there's also ways to see where servers are pinging.
Yes, and I talked to Monique about this after the shit went down, and she thoroughly believes, as do I, that Gary and JD listen to this show and take notes, and they present them to the king of all media, who is now the pawn of all pussies. And I have said in the past, that I loved Howard, and I am grateful to him. But it gets to the point where the guy just is just a skeleton of himself at this point. He really doesn't understand what he's become, and he doesn't understand how he's disenfranchised 90% of his audience. Go ahead.
See, that's the one part I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That's the one part I disagree with. I think he knows exactly who he's become because I think he was always that guy.
Well, that's okay. That's a good point. So here is
these are the conversations we have at night on the phone.
No, I know. But here's the thing. So I get a tweet yesterday morning, and someone says, "Hey, Howard was talking about you," and I go, "All right." And that's one person, and then I get another person. Hey, Howard was talking about. Okay, two people. Now, out of all the 50,000 people follow me on Twitter, right? 2 people tweeted me that Howard mentioned me.
Dude, a year ago, that would have been 20.
Now, I remember when he trashed me a while back when I was on Adam Carolla's show, I got calls from everybody.
Yeah, but how many years ago was this?
That was 2008.
There it is.
I know. So I was inundated with calls and emails and everybody telling me. Now, 2 people. 2 people.
The same 2 people that tweeted me, apparently.
Yeah. So, I asked what was said. And they told me what was said. So why don't you play what was said, Royce? Thank you. Here it is.
Now, mind you, you called me
All right.
And I was already listening to it when you called me to find out what was going on. I'm like, I got to call you back. I'm already listening.
No, I know. So here it is. Here's the Pelican and the bloated female flunky.
It'll never happen again.
And by the way, like anything I've ever read about me where people try to write behind-the-scenes books, it's mostly from people who way over-evaluated their contribution to the show. You know?
Well, that was their problem in the first place.
Yeah, and I'm like, really? Who even knew you were that important to the thing? You know?
While they were here, they were
Right.
doing that.
Yeah. Like, weren't you an intern? But everyone, you know, likes to take credit for the show and whatever, and I don't even care. Go ahead and do it. I think it's healthy to have negative things written about you. I really do. I think that people who are fans of mine should read everything about me, even the bullshit.
They should read the bullshit, too?
Why not? It's fun.
Okay, now there you have it. Now, it's just so fun to hear it live. Not live, but to hear his actual dumbass fucking words. Okay, Howard, let's analyze your ridiculous statement. And you too, Tubby. Here we go. They're sitting there saying that I over-evaluated my importance to the show. Now, if that were the case, Royce, let's just pretend that were the case. Why then, in 1989 and 1990, when the Channel 9 show was on, why were there only 3 pictures that went out in the booklet to all the advertisers? And those 3 pictures were me, Howard, and Robin. No Gary, no Fred, no Jackie, just us 3.
And wasn't that during the height of the Channel 9 show or no?
Yeah, that was when the channel, yeah.
Which somebody stated on Twitter the other day
Yeah.
was very much the Stuttering John show.
Yes. So, and in fact, Pelican, you fucking lying piece of shit, it was also reviewed, the Channel 9 show, and the only thing from the Channel 9 show that got a good review, they trashed the whole show. You know what got a good review?
Your interviews.
The Stuttering John segments. And Howard read it on his fucking stupid show and said, well, John, everybody seems to like you. Yes, they did, Howard. You know why? Because I'm not a narcissistic scumbag like yourself. Okay, so let's just go with the pretense that I over-evaluated my contributions. Go ahead.
Can I just say something to that?
Yes.
If you overvalued your contributions to that show, which would mean that you had a disproportionate understanding of your value, nobody would have reached out to you and offered you a job.
Well, okay. Yeah. No, and you're right, but you're jumping ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So here we go now. Now we go into 91 and 92. The interviews are still huge.
Huge.
Now, mind you, people, when I started with the show, Howard was only on in New York and Philadelphia. Now, I am not saying that the show, Howard wouldn't be as big as he is without me. You know, I mean, with me. I mean, it has nothing to do with that.
You've never said that.
Never would. Of course, Howard is the most important component to the Howard Stern show. End of story. But to sit there and think that people like me and Artie and Jackie and Fred and Gary didn't contribute, Billy didn't contribute, is Casey Grillo, is a ridiculous fucking statement to make. And this is called the revisionist Howard Stern history.
But it's also a slap in the face to the 60 people sitting back there doing the job today.
Well, and that's what I wanted to. And this is what
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get ahead.
No. It's all good. Don't worry. But so he said he was just an intern. First of all,
it's not even true.
I know. First of all, Schnazi, I started as an intern in 1988 and was a paid employee in 1990, and stayed there till 2004. So for 14 fucking years, I was a paid employee and not an intern. And by the way, to discredit the internship program and all the people that have been an intern is So disrespectful to the people you still have there. Will Murray started out as an intern. Okay? You fucking wig-wearing prick. Jason Kaplan started out as an intern. Benjamin Bronk started out as an intern. Casey Armstrong started out as an intern. Danny Zucker started out as an intern. So here you are now, trashing the people that started out as interns. Derek Jones, who writes for your pelican face, started out as a page, which is the equivalency of an intern.
Actually, pages get paid.
They do. No,
That's
I
the
know
difference.
that. There is a difference,
Yeah.
but that's the
No,
lowest.
but you get what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
and I was raising my hand because I knew you were on a tear, but John, of course he has no respect for interns. Sirius XM had a massive lawsuit because they were making interns do full-time jobs without compensation.
No, I
So
know.
of course they have a lack of respect for interns. It makes perfect sense.
But to listen to fucking that bloated female flunky,
yeah, what did you call her on Twitter?
bloated female. Oh, Robin the Bakery. Robin the Bakery, because she's gotten fucking the size of a fucking house. And I used to be very kind to Robin because I thought Robin was like always kind to me, except for the time she threw me under the bus when I left. Now, when you have just all right, so there you have the interns that are all there now. So Howard saying he was just an intern now diminishes Jason, Will, Benji's, Derek's, JD's, all of their contributions, because in his mind, and that freaking that huge behemoth of his co-host, that then they just belittled all of those people by saying they were just interns.
Don't you mean sidekick?
Oh yeah, but at this point, you know,
She's a sidekick.
yeah, with a lot of side dishes. Here's the thing. I'm sorry. I'm not holding back here anymore.
You told me last night on the phone the gloves are coming off, and I'm like, wait, the gloves were on?
I have given Robin the Bakery so much. What? She's Robin the Bakery.
I know, but like it's not even a riff on her last name. I think that's why people on Twitter were confused.
Hey, I can't. Hey, they got to keep up with me. She's a fucking house right now. And, you know, I know she had cancer, and I was very, 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 very respectful to that. But, Robin, when you sit there and agree, and we all know you're going to kiss Howard's ass. That's what you did to me when you threw me under the bus on the day I left. And when you came out here, Robin, you said to me, when we sat out on the patio at Paoli's and had dinner, which I paid for, you said, John, you're the most successful person that's ever been on the show, you know, that left the show. And you also said to me when I said, the only thing I was mad at you about, Robin, is that you fucking threw me under the bus after you told me that it was right for me to go. And then she said, well, John, you know, I'm between a rock and a hard place. You know, Howard's my boss. You know, I love you both. Well, that's over, Robin. Okay, don't love me. I don't love you. To sit there and fucking agree with Howard that I did not contribute. Now,
Why don't you just text her and address the head on?
No, because this is not what they did. They did, if they really, first of all, everything that I said about Howard and Robin in my book is 100% true, accurate, and could be corroborated. And if you want me to, you know, it is all based from my experience there. I do not lie. I'm too OCD to lie. Where Howard lies and says he's cured, I am not cured. I still have OCD, and I don't lie. I don't lie to you, Royce. I don't lie to my kids, and I'm not lying now. This is a bunch of horse shit. So Howard Stern decides to go on and diminish my contributions on the show. Let me ask you something, Howard. Why is it then, when Artie Lang started, when he first came in with Norm Macdonald to promote Dirty Work, why is it that when Artie came, he said, John, I'm such a big fan of yours. I love you. You know, you crack me up. If my contributions were so small, then why did people come in on the show and were happy to see me? Were like, a big fan, John. Why? Why, when I went out to do interviews, half the people who would recognize me, love you, John. What? How the fuck can you diminish my contributions when I was doing the interviews that were the favorite segments of many of a Stern Show listener? Why, Howard, did you tell me that I was the best at it? Why did you tell me on my call when I left how you should have done things different by having me in the Jackie chair? Why did you tell me that in a moment of sincerity? No, you weren't on the air. You didn't have to lie then. You were being honest. So why now do you choose to now discredit 15 years of hard fucking work that I did when I was there? And if you're going to discredit what I did, then why not discredit what Robin does? When has Robin ever, and Royce, I'm asking you this as a Stern fan, when has Robin ever said anything funny on that show? Ever?
For as long as I can remember, she was just always the sidekick that laughed at anything Howard said. And now she is trying to do jokes. And they're not funny, they're cringeworthy.
She could never be a stand-up. She is awful. And she has no right to sit there and say, I didn't make a contribution. Because really, what do, Robin? You sit and cackle at everything Howard says. You agree with him ad nauseum. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And that's what you do. And you cling on, and you cling on to Howard's coattails so you can be worth the $40 million that it says that you're worth. I'm amazed. I'm amazed that 15 years of loyal service and Howard diminishes it to me just being an intern. Howard, the amount of jokes that I wrote for you, and Will and Jason will attest to this, maybe not on the air, maybe not in front of your face, but they saw all the jokes I was writing for you. You remember, Howard, after the on the Channel 9 show when I interviewed the underdog lady all on my own without any of your fucking questions that you never wrote anyway, Jackie and Fred did? But you remember when I interviewed her and Daniel Carver all on my own with my own questions that I wrote? Do you remember then when you asked me to come to the writer's room and write questions for the underdog lady, for the Holly Weird Squares? Do you recall that? I wonder why. If I was so I had no value. Why would you have me come down there, a 24-year-old kid, come down there and help you write questions for the underdog lady? I'll tell you why. Because you knew I was funny. You knew I was talented. And you knew that you could take advantage of me every single chance that you could. Because you knew that I was a fan of yours, and I was happy to be there. And I would do anything you asked. I carved your fucking potatoes. You know, made sure you got your lunch, your 4 ounces of turkey. And I did that. I paid my dues. I watched The Office while Baba Booey grabbed the blinders from a mystery guest and fucking, and went and took a nap. That's right. That's right. He would take naps periodically. And guess who held out? Gary would say, hold down the fort and then go take a nap. This is on his partying days. When I brought it up on the air, he just said it happened once, which was a lie. Happened at least 3 times. Doesn't matter, Royce. My point is this. I think at some point, even if you hate me now, I know a lot of you Stern fans hate my politics. Fine. I don't base anybody's politics on whether I like them or dislike them. I like Tim Allen. I think he's a talented actor. I loved Galaxy Quest. And I loved Santa Claus.
How did Tim Allen get shrapnel?
Wait. Just let me go. Tim Allen is a fucking staunch conservative.
I know that.
What I'm trying to say is I don't care about. I love Clint Eastwood's movies. He's a great award-winning director. He's an icon because of his political beliefs. So what if he wants to talk to a chair? It doesn't matter to me.
We all do.
Yeah. It doesn't matter to me. I'm still a fan. So for people who hate me because of my political beliefs, that's your problem. That's your problem. I don't hate any of you. I really don't. That's what I was getting at, Royce.
Okay.
So, getting back to the Pelican.
Before you do that, will you do that live read real quick?
Yeah, do I have it?
Yeah, you should be under your keyboard unless you already pulled it.
All right, hold on a second.
Just do that real quick because I know you got a pile of papers there.
I do. I have the red flag list right in front of me where Howard denied it ever existing to New York Magazine. You fucking liar. You're a liar. Remember when you accused Jay Leno of stealing jaywalking from the homeless game? You lied, and you knew it. You knew you were lying, and you deceived me, and you deceived the millions of fans that you once had. Jay Leno never stole jaywalking from you. Never did. Never did, but you lied. Because you're a liar. You're a compulsive liar. Well, baseball season is now into the... Well, baseball...
I can't go from an up-tempo record to
This is fucking ponderous, man. It's fucking ponderous.
what was it, like a death dedication to a dog?
Yeah. I got to sit here and come off of a happy song to a death dedication to a dog. It's fucking ponderous, man. While baseball playoffs is in full swing, placing a wager on baseball has never been easier with all the best odds at betonline.ag. This week I'm watching the Yankees take on the Minnesota Twins. But wait, can you believe the NFL season is underway? To celebrate another season kickoff, to celebrate another season, go to betonline.ag and CLNS Media because they're giving you a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Head over to betonline.ag or use your mobile device to join today and use promo code CLNS50 to receive your welcome bonus. Don't sit on the sidelines this football season. Get into all the action with betonline.ag, your online sportsbook experts. Please see BetOnline's general rules for additional terms and conditions regarding bonuses. And let me just say, this copywritten broadcast of the Stuttering John podcast is owned solely by the Stuttering John podcast, cannot be disseminated. Clips from this podcast cannot be used by any other show without written consent from the Stuttering John podcast. And this is protected under the copyright laws of the United States of America. Thank you. Okay, anyway, so here we go. Back into the world of Howard Stern. It's just, look, again, how many years was Artie on the show for? 8?
Yeah, I was almost a decade.
Yeah, maybe 10. Now, Artie was, as Howard says, a great contributor. Artie was great on the show. I'll never, ever take anything away from Artie. I'll never take anything away from anybody who was on the show, Jackie included. Jackie was great on the show. There is nothing that would ever have me take any credit away from guys like Benji, who write great jokes for Howard. I would never take any credit away from Benji because he started out as an intern. It is such a pompous, narcissistic mentality to put down those that gave you. Look, I got punched and beaten up for Howard. I called Grillo because I had tweeted that what does this say about all the other interns? And I tagged Grillo and and Ganji and Will and Jason. What does that really say if all you it's exactly what the cliche is. Once an intern, always an intern. Like in Howard's mind, in his revisionist history mind, he looks at it now, I wasn't a main contributor. If that's the case, Pelican, why did you cry like a bitch when I left? Why did you beat up Jay ad nauseum after I left? I'll tell you why. Because you knew you lost a valuable commodity to the show. And it wasn't only my interviews, Royce. This is where I was going. So now you have 2002, 2003. Now we get into the world of Stuttering John becoming his own on that show. And that was the Stuttering John who started, not 2003, I'm talking about 93, 94, 95. That's the Stuttering John that started to fucking be the shit stirrer. That's the Stuttering John that stole the Gary puppet. Epic. If you don't think that those segments will live in Stern fans' memories forever, you're out of your fucking mind.
3 bits come to mind that go down in the annals of radio history.
Isn't it the anals?
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
It's almost like we prepared.
Yes. Go ahead.
You stealing the puppet.
Yep.
The Gary puppet.
Yep.
The cabbie fight.
Yep.
Okay, and then the Scott push-ups with the tape.
Yes. All orchestrated by me. And that is, and there lies the problem with Howard. How dare you discredit me? I mean, Artie and I, one of the best segments, as said by Scott D. Pace, was me goofing on Artie's diet and then the maggot orange juice story.
Ugh.
But I'm telling you right now, Scott, when I walked out of the studio, he goes, John, that was the best hour of Howard Stern ever. And that's from your director, Howard. That's from your fucking director. And to sit there and now discredit my contributions as if I was delusional is ridiculous. It is fucking ridiculous to think that my contributions were not that important. Let me ask you something, Howard. You can't have it both ways. First, you say, I got the Tonight Show because of my popularity on the Stern Show. You say I got my record deal because of my popularity on the Stern Show. So now if you're going to say that, then how can you then turn around and say that I didn't have any popularity on the Howard Stern Show? I mean, Royce, this is simple math.
Well, this is what I don't get because, and that's, you just deconstructed it perfectly. He can't have it both ways. And I can't really argue this, but if you want to play devil's advocate, you could argue the point that, okay, for the amount of time the show's been on the air and the amount of time you were on the show, that your contributions, there might be a fraction there. Okay?
Yeah.
If we're playing devil's advocate. But the problem is with Howard is what he's doing to you, he does to everybody. He used Artie, spit him up, chewed him out, spit him out, whatever. He's gone. You were you were lucky enough to get a job. But what he does to these people with his revisionist history is he just removes them from the legacy of the show.
Yeah, and then, how does a guy like Billy feel? How does a guy
I don't think Billy gives a shit because I think he's got plenty of work.
Yeah, and how does a guy? Well, Jackie's now fucking in the Love Howard mode all of a sudden. But it's got to irritate anybody to think that Howard sits there and diminishes people's contributions. And here's the thing. Okay, if you think I'm delusional, Tom Chiusano we were walking together in the hallway of K-Rock and said, John, out of all the people that do the interviews, you're the best at it. He goes, I know this is going to hurt me when you come in and ask me for a raise, but it's the truth. I said, thanks, Tom. Robin, you know how many times you complimented me and said, I mean, it's just ridiculous that now they sit here and say, God, I was such a part of that show. I was in the inner circle. Right, Howard? Now you're going to say we didn't have dinner like every other weekend or every weekend? But now you're going to say I didn't fucking go to your Hampton house a bunch of times? Are you going to say that now, Howard? I didn't hang out at your apartment in Manhattan? We didn't hang out at Scores together, just you and I? Are you going to deny all of that?
See, that's the problem. He can't deny all that. And then if this was just about you, if this was solely just about you, there might be a different argument to be had. If Howard just wanted to make the point, hey, John put out this book and blah, 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 blah. But when he takes it and he whether it's you, Artie, Jackie, whoever, and he revises the history of the show, it shows that he's got no appreciation for the team that got him where he is today.
No, and here is another one. Here's another one, Royce. Obviously, I've been thinking about this. If I had no significance to the show, why then did you dedicate a whole chapter in each one of your best-selling books to me? Why do I have a chapter in each book? And why is there a bunch of pictures of me in the book? Why is there also a picture of me with you and Fred and Robin and Jackie and where you say my radio family? If I was such a non-contributing factor to the show, why would you call us a member of your radio family? To sit there and think that the name Stuttering John, and I want to thank the writer again from the review from Netflix for Between Two Ferns, who said asking Stuttering John questions. If I was so insignificant to you and your show, why then, to even this day, I am acknowledged as part of your show? Why, when I made the Trump phone call only a year ago, why then, Royce, did every fucking network from CNN to MSNBC to CBS to NBC to Fox, why did they all say comedian who was on the former member of the Howard Stern show?
Because most people know you for your contributions to that show, not the Tonight Show.
Which I'm fine with.
Which is fine. It's just a fact.
It is a fact. But then how could this pelican sit there and deny my contributions? And maybe he's just trying to bait me.
I think he's trying to bait you, but I also think part of it's kind of rooted, and maybe only to a certain extent. I think part of him possibly at a point in time felt betrayed. You left the show.
Yes.
And it's easier to just hate on you than to admit that he lost something of value. So it's easier to take the opposite angle and just be like, fuck you, you didn't contribute. But
hey, here's the funny thing, Royce, that you didn't even think about. If I was such a non-contributing factor to the show, why did, when you mentioned me, you said, and one of them was an intern? Now, Royce, why couldn't you mention the name Stuttering John? Ever think about that?
he didn't want to give you the oxygen.
Exactly. Because he knows this podcast is getting more and more popular, and he knows that people would rather hear the truth than his bullshit.
Also, he also was responding basically to the Bubba interview because his calls are all stacked and produced.
Of course. And we know that call that we have from a very good source, that call was probably a fucking plant.
All his calls are produced. He does not take random phone calls anymore.
So there you go.
Can I just say one thing? Before you get to that,
I want you to say as many things as you want, because I'm fucking livid. I'm calm right now, and it's like, look, I don't care about Howard Stern. I don't care anything about any of those people. I mean, I've said that I love them because I didn't think they would go this low. I mean, I don't mind. You can call me an asshole now. You could say I'm a douche. Don't discredit 15 years of my loyal contributions to the show.
Again, it's not just you. They're doing it all the time. They're cutting out bits. They're hacking up bits for Sternthology. They're revising the entire history of the show. It's not just you. That's what I think is almost so insulting. I made the analogy to you on the phone the other day. The Howard Stern show is like a band of characters. Howard's the band leader. I think the Howard Stern show made its best music when the people in the band were Billy, Jackie, and you. And then I would say second to that was Artie. And the only reason I would put Artie second is because a lot of Artie's suffering was put on display for good radio. So Artie was kind of Howard's sacrifice to do that. But I would argue that those are the best two eras of music that the Howard Stern show ever made. And their music sucks now. And that's what I equate to. I equate to a band that has gotten rid of their best contributors and replaced them with subpar studio musicians.
We're the Beatles of radio. No, it is true. It's like, so like, look, if you're going to make the Eagles analogy, so then maybe I'm the Don Felder. Don Felder wrote the riff for Hotel California and Victim of Love. It's just like, at least, to think that I'm not, I wasn't an important part of that cast is just, it's sad. It's just sad.
I don't think he believes it.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe he does. I'm talking about both sides.
Even when I was at his Hampton house after I left to do the Tonight Show, he said how I was the best. I mean, like, to now go from that to like now diminishing me. And by the way, if I was just an intern, what do you call Sal and Richard? They were just fans of the show who listened. What do you call Ralph?
But hold on.
Ralph wrote a fan letter.
It was called Win John's Job. How do you win an intern's job?
Yeah, exactly. Good point, Royce. I knew how you're here for a reason.
That was my only reason. I got to go.
No, it's just, it boggles the mind that he has the audacity to fucking sit there and diminish. And let me go on now from 97, 98. Now you're getting into the fucking Virgin Mary thing. What, you don't remember that?
Who, me?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite bits. I tell you all the time.
Yeah. I mean, you get
How
into...
dare you?
No, and then, I mean, just the constant pranks on Gary, the the stock market bit that I did where I had his broker tell him that he lost all his money. I taped it. I mean, just, having my mother call Scott the engineer and telling him that she'll hire him as a DJ, but he's got to wear his wig. She doesn't want any baldies there. I don't even know if you know that one. But even as silly as the one where I fucking, tied a fucking fishing line to a $20 bill and had the e-cameras taped. So when Scott, the engineer, walked out and bent over, I fucking yanked it from him. All those things were all a part of the texture of the Howard Stern show. Let's just go into even more. The Tom Chiasano golf match. The golf game where I beat Tom Chiasano. An epic E-show. If you look at all these contributions, how dare you fucking sit there and say I wasn't a main contributor on the show? I'm not fucking delusional here, people. Not at all. Call me the fourth man, the fifth man. I'll tell you this. For a long time there, I was more popular than Robin. That's why she called me Hero of the Stupid. Because we went outside of 600 Madison Avenue, and we walked down the street, and all the blue-collar workers were going, "Hey, John." Not one would say, "Hey, Robin." And she said, "Look at you, you're Hero of the Stupid." Equating blue-collar people to be stupid. I'll take that any day of the week. I'd rather be appealing to the blue-collar people than solely just the white-collar. But I'm actually lying. I'd rather appeal to all of them. But, I mean, to sit there and call me Hero of the Stupid because blue-collar people are fans of mine, that's the mentality that Robin goes into when she diminishes me to an intern. Because that's how they look at interns. That's all they do. They look at, when you start as an intern, that's all you are. Isn't that right, Howie?
That's why there's that lawsuit, man. They were putting those interns through like 40-hour work weeks, making them do full-time jobs.
Well, soon we're going to get into the red flag list, and hopefully I'm going to read Marcy Turk's her resume, which, by the way, has more misspellings than the Getting Things Done seminar. So we must know that Marcy Turk was in charge of proofreading the Getting Things Done seminar.
Yeah, because I saw the resume. So
it is hysterical how bad the spelling is.
Well, it's a good thing she's in radio, not in publishing.
And now I'll play devil's advocate. So, some Twitter is going to go, "Yeah, but you had misspellings in your book." That wasn't my fault. Even our book editor, will say that wasn't my fault.
Admit the truth. Marcy was your book publisher.
Yeah, exactly. No, that was the editor and the book company who sent in the wrong copy. So there you have that. I'm going to get into the red flag list, but I have to just say that then you get into the crazy cabbie boxing match. Probably the most listened to Stern show out of all, except for maybe 9/11. And except for maybe his last day on terrestrial. The crazy cab match, if I was a nobody, as somebody pointed out on Twitter, why then did we have 4,000 sold-out seats at Trump Taj Mahal to see that fight? Why, Howie?
Didn't you fly in Trump's helicopter to that fight?
I flew home in Trump's helicopter.
With Trump?
No, Trump didn't fly with us. It was me, Susanna, Howard, and Beth. And then Howard complimented me on my stand-up. It's just amazing to me that he could sit there.
Did he say pretty good comedy for an intern?
No, he said you were really funny, man. That was great. But he'll never admit it, or he'll say he was lying because he's such a dick. The guy is a dick. He's a walking, fucking living dick.
I just don't think he appreciates the fact that because he makes that comment. Oh yeah. Tell the truth about me. I think it's good and healthy for everyone. Like, that's him convincing himself.
Yeah. Well, guess what, Howie? I didn't lie. I don't lie. I have in my hands here the red flag list, which Howard denied when asked by New York Magazine, I believe. He was asked, does he tell people what they are or not allowed to say on the show? And he said he doesn't.
So that's a red flag list of guests or what you can and cannot say?
Okay, this is now, again... This was sent to me anonymously, okay?
So we can only guess it's real.
We could only guess that it's real. But I would assume that it is real.
Hopefully I didn't type that too small for you.
No. But you tell me. I'll let you be the judge. Okay. Subjects of concern. Red flag list. Last edit on January 21st, 2013, 4 p.m. Asterisk. If Howard/Don/Gary are not around to approve, all in caps now, do not air, ! That's how this thing starts. Ex-wife Allison name mentions, calls, especially anything a negative, not to be mentioned or said. Lawsuit with Telepictures, Warner Brothers. Scott Einziger, we can now leave it, but stay away from negative comments. Jim Parator, former Howard producer that Howard sued. He was also the founder of TMZ, who died in May 2012. Mike Fleiss, former Howard producer who Howard also sued. How many people does this guy sue? CBS Viacom. Then this is when Tim Sabian was there. Asterisk. Tim is getting further clarification on this. No mention of Les Moonves and family, including Julie Chen, wife. Joel Hollander, president of Infinity, nothing derogatory. Steve Lehrman, SP attorney, ? This is okay to air, but it needs to be cleared by Howard, Gary, or Don. This is a key point for any future history of Howard Stern's. 800 numbers, plugs, websites, things people were being directed to, etc. Anything bleeped, okay to air if we can't find the clean masters.
So these are actually edits out of old shows for Sternthology.
Any past, these I don't know. Yeah, probably.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
this is
probably.
how they're going to revise the past.
Any past negative talk about Ellen DeGeneres. What a fucking kiss-ass you are, Howard. March 14, 2012, Howard Stern Show from Howard. Air this show the rest of the day. Eventually, we could air this show somewhere down the road without the King and Beth, but for now, let it play out and then chill for a while.
Without the what?
I don't know. Without the King and Beth. I don't know what that means.
Howard and Beth?
Yeah, probably. But for now, let it play out and then shelve for a while. Doug versus Shuley. Argument over baby clothes. All negative Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon.
Wow.
4/16/11. Howard's mom phone call about America's Got Talent. Any negative Kathy Lee content.
Well, that's all of it.
And all this is in caps. No longer is in caps. Air the song from the Double Zeros, HOWARD.
Why?
I don't know. Negative references to Jennifer Aniston. Matthew Broderick voicemail. This is so funny. And then they give us a summary. Gary says he has Matthew Broderick's answer machine number where he lives with Jennifer Gray, and he picks it up after one ring. Howard wants to call and leave some car crash sound effect on the machine. I guess that's because Matthew Broderick got into a car accident. I think I don't know, but I think somebody died in the car because I remember one of my questions for him was once, are you going to drive? Did you drive here?
None of that rings a bell. It's weird.
Well, it is. Any audio where Alec Baldwin refers to his daughter as a little pig. Anything with Darren the Footligger. Any comments that refer to Cameron Diaz riding the Symbian. Cabby, per Tim, we could air Cabby moments, but we cannot interview him for any new special. Elliot Offen. Chauncey Hayden. Per Tim, we could air Chauncey moments, but we cannot interview him for any future special. Also, any moment still needs to be handled the same way as Cabby for approval. Corky, 3/22/96. Linda McCartney singing Hey Jude, November 90. Isn't this crazy?
I wonder if that's just a rights issue, though.
No, it's just probably because he's trying to change his whole thing.
But why can't she sing Hey Jude?
I don't know, because it was really bad. It was like an ISO'd mic. Danny Philbin telethon. Debbie Tay.
Well, that makes sense.
Ed McMahon audio and mentions are okay, but not the doctored book on tape audio. Joey Buttafuoco in studio with Amy Fisher's father on the phone. Any reference like check out the E! Show tonight?
Well, but see, I get that because that
makes sense. I know,
but the cutting out the 800 numbers and stuff is cutting out calls to action that are benign.
No, that I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not, I mean, some of these, Howard bad-mouthing Jan Wenner of Rolling Stone.
Jan Winter?
Jan, that's right. Jan Wenner. Jan Wenner, it says here.
Yeah, Winner.
I don't know. Morning Man, Brother Weeze from Rochester, New York. Comedian Bob Levy.
Cut him out completely.
Yeah. Comedian Bob Levy. Columbine, Selena, Dana Plato. Commentary on Ray Stern. Rap on Goff Labar. Rachel Hunter moment where Howard calls her a cunt. Don Cornelius with Stuttering John. You digging this?
It's pretty funny.
It is crazy.
Is it all those pages?
Yeah, it's 4 pages.
Keep going, man.
All right. Any past... Well, I already did this one. Let's see. I did that one. Hold on. I did that one. Hold on. And this one. And I did that one. Oh, then this is the last page, I think. Yeah. Last page. Angie Everhart. Remove the Alec Baldwin dirty little pig voicemail.
Yeah.
Let's be sensitive to certain racial slurs. I know in the old days we would say stuff like chinky Chinese, etc. It would not fit in with the show today and does not reflect my views. If someone comes up in a racial area and you are not sure, by all means, ask about it. Maybe some of the sketches might include homo references or racist over-the-top type voices. If you can't decide, ask Gary. Like, that's going to help.
Yeah, like, hell no.
Some of the stuff can be funny, like the homo room, but perhaps there are moments in the homo room that feel not quite right. It's a matter of degrees. And then Song at 17 by Janice Ian, Jerry Seinfeld, and this is in bold, never to see the light of day. Now, this red flag list, you know, in case there's any question, has been corroborated by 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 sources.
And it was in your book.
Yes, I put some of it in my book.
So how much of that, how much was in your book compared to how much is there?
About 2 pages, maybe, of the 4.
And your legal team went through that and thought that was totally okay to put in the book?
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah, you know, I mean, look, you know, I mean, this is what it is. I don't, you know, I don't know if it's real.
I don't know if it's real either, but let's just say it's real. I don't actually find any of it terribly incriminating or surprising. It makes sense to me that he doesn't want to play the Janice Ian song. I can see that a mile away.
Why?
Because it's about Seinfeld dating a 17-year-old. Like, I could see he's friends with Jerry. I get that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not lame that this guy who was about free speech is now tightened up.
But talk about a guy who said to New York Magazine that Stuttering John doesn't know what he's talking about. And I don't know where I get my shit from.
Well, listen, he also just...
What?
Nah, I mean, it is kind of like him putting it out there and you taking the bait because he's like, oh, just air all the negative stuff, and now you did it, and then it's like, all right.
Well, I'm just putting it out there.
Well, we don't even know if it's real. You have 4 people that sent it to you, but they could all be lying.
Everybody could be lying.
Sure.
I'm not saying it's real.
Well, how would you even know if it's real?
I don't know. It was mailed to me, I swear to God, in an anonymous envelope. It just had my address and name, and that's it.
Yeah, so that's not even an email you printed out.
Well, I don't know whoever sent this.
No, but I'm saying you didn't print those out. Those were sent to you in the mail.
They were all sent to me in the mail.
That's wild.
It's crazy, right? These are the people that work for him and work for him that are sending me shit because they are sick of you too, Howard. And again, we'll get back to the point of all those guys. You know, Jason, Will. All those guys who are interns now have to Jason, you have to think now. If I am not considered a big contributor of the Howard Stern show, then what are you?
By the way, I have Marcy's resume.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because words like portfolio, no F. Totally missing the F. Words like financial, just totally it looks like it's a word puzzle.
No F with financial?
No, financial actually has an F. It's weird they didn't use it for a portfolio.
But she loves to F.
Well, huh? There's business, no N. Acquisition is a word jumble. Advocacy is spelled closer to the word avocado. So, you know, that's the COO.
And this is the COO of the Howard Stern show. Well, I don't know. I don't know what to say, Royce. I'm just saying, guys like Will Murray, if my contributions were not appreciated, then what are yours?
Well, really is what will yours be considered in another 2 to 3 years when he retires? Not that it matters because nobody's listening anyway.
All right, here's a quiz, okay? And I'm not trying to. I don't care. I'm blowing my own horn. I don't give a fuck. I guarantee if you go on the street and ask 100 people, who is Will Murray? Who is Jason Kaplan? Who is Benjamin Bronk? Who is Sal Governale? Who is Richard Christie? Who is Stuttering John? I guarantee more people will say they know who Stuttering John is.
But that goes for you could sub your name out for Jackie. You know what I mean? Like in the sense of that era was the height of the show, And these guys are operating on the fumes of what was once a Class A show. So you guys made great contributions to a great era. I don't know why. I get that you guys are in a back and forth, in a pissing contest, you and Howard, because everything he's doing on that show is passive-aggressive. But I don't know why he can't celebrate the past.
That's the weird thing. Like, first of all, don't be mistaken. My book was not, in my mind, a tell-all book. I didn't write the book to be like, oh, I'm going to just write shit to trash Howard. I wrote an honest life experience.
Which is what you would do when you're trying to sell books.
Well, I wrote from me being an abused child and a stutterer to becoming an intern on the Howard Stern Show and eventually rising to fame on the Howard Stern Show and becoming the announcer on the Tonight Show. And I talk about my time with Jay Leno. And you know, it was a very candid book. It was very honest. And you know, you might hate the things I say. Do I tell the real stories of Artie Lang? Yes. Do I tell the real stories of Billy West? Yes. I'm telling my story. And where you say, oh, well, I could, you know, it's from my perspective, sure. But believe me, you don't think the legal team at my book company didn't they didn't go through it and make sure I didn't say anything that would be, you know, a red flag for a lawsuit? Of course they did.
Yeah, but that's not even where we're at now. You're looking at a guy, again, you're talking about a guy that's not nearly as relevant as he once was. So I said this to you off the air, there's a shift that'll occur at some point. And it's more interesting for people to hear the stuff that you're saying than it is to listen to his show. But at a certain point, if he's off the air or he's just completely lost his relevance, which he's pretty darn close, then this stuff fades away quick, because at least when he was somewhat on top, the idea of revealing him for who he is and talking shit and all that was interesting. But he's not even relevant anymore. And I say this to you off the air all the time. And it's just a matter of time. He retires. Those guys, nobody knows from those guys.
No, well, the only thing they could hope, you know, I mean, I know Derek Jones is a snake. He'll figure out how to get a job. I mean,
he'll call you.
No, I mean, he's already I know him, and he's already trying to work angles to get a writing job at TV. And he's young enough, and he's talented enough that he could do that. And, you know, God bless him. You know, look, the only reason I'm pissed at Derek for a lot of things. I mean, besides fucking, you know, trying to steal every fucking single girl that I fucking bring into his presence, besides fucking, you know, doing, you know, one of my stand-up bits. I mean, but the only real thing I was irritated with Derek Jones was that he fucking came to L.A. and didn't, and, you know, and visited everybody except me because he was afraid.
Yeah.
Which is like, I get that you could be afraid, Derek, but I would have never said anything. You know, like I wouldn't have. I mean, I've had plenty of private conversations with a lot of Stern people, you know, and I don't ever mention their names. You know, I'm an honorable man. I would never do that, but that's your hang up. And I don't give a fuck. You know, I have before I get to this tweet, I have to tell you a few inside things about Robin Quivers that I've never said. I told people I'm not holding back anymore. Did I ever tell you that Robin made an intern fucking cry her eyes out?
Yes, actually. I think that's actually public.
Did I say it on the air?
I don't know if you've told me off the air or on the air.
Okay.
So.
Well, it was so sad. Her name was Kristen, I believe. This blonde girl, you know, and not fat, but like a little chunky, you know, like little stocky, a little chunky. She was so sweet. And Robin was so mad at her that when she went to open the door for Robin, like out front of 600, you know, or they were coming, Robin just tore her a new asshole. Just screamed at her. And I was like, oh my God. And poor Kristen was in tears. Robin fucking brought her to tears. That is a bully. Okay? That is a bully. Let me tell you what another bully story of Robin Quivers is. Jackie Dioria was a hot Jersey girl who interned on the show. she was pretty, but like, and she had that bouffant hair, like up in the air. She once said to Howard on the air that she wished that she could. No, she said that Robin's job was easy. Just like listen to Howard and laugh. Robin got so upset that Jackie was done. She was gone. Gone. That was it. Robin would not ever talk to her again. Because Robin's feelings were hurt.
But like I said at the top of this, that's what she was known for.
Well, and you know how irritated she is by hearing people say that all she does is laugh at Howard's jokes.
Of course, because it's true.
She's been called, what do you call that, Uncle?
I'm not going there. But listen.
No, but she's been called things like that.
I don't know what you're talking about. But I have to go back on something real quick. You were talking about polling people in the street. There are people that still, when we went and did the Trump thing and we're doing things, and even to this day, there are still people that think you're still on the Stern Show.
I know.
Because nobody's listening.
Yeah. Well, I know. And that is true. Because people still think, they'll come up to me and go, like some guy said, when I did the flyaway, when I was on the way, to the airport, he said, hey, man, are you still on the show?
That's what I'm saying. People
have no idea.
Abandon ship.
But it's just a sad state, and for Howard's legacy to just diminish the contributions, of mine, and he's done just like he said about Billy West, like off the air, after Billy left, what is Billy going to do? Doesn't he know the only reason he gets gigs is because of his show? Could you imagine like the talent that Billy West has to have Howard like tear him like pretty much say that he's worthless except for being on the Howard Stern show? That is what is known as, Royce, as a megalomaniac.
Yeah, but John, now you're going back, 30, 35 years? It's never changed. He's been
That's
that
what
guy
I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. He did a good job of hiding it along the way. Maybe not even, because I think people just took what he did on the air as a bit.
Yeah.
But he, like you always say, the real Howard's on the air.
No, but now, like, it's just like to have him. It's fucking 2019, Howard. You don't have to fucking like trash. You can trash me all you want, but to just say that like I was not a big contributor is just a fucking.
But that's all he can say.
A travesty.
Because
what?
No, because if he wanted to be real, he'd get you on the show or on the phone, and he'd chew you a new asshole.
No, because he would.
That would be real, though.
But he wouldn't want to help us out.
But that would be real.
I know.
Is to go, John, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? But that would be real radio. He would have done that back in his heyday. He would have picked up the phone and gone head to head with anybody.
I wonder what Beth would say, because Beth knows how important I was to that show. Beth would, every time she was on the air, I was on the air with her. She, she's got to go. Oh, come on, Howard. John. But John was a staple on this show.
Listen, I honest to God think he knows what he's saying there. I don't think he's saying that and believing it. I think that the same way he's saying, "Oh, I think it's healthy for negative things to be said about me." I don't think he believes that either.
No,
I think he's saying that out loud so he can sound like he believes it. I think he knows the value of your contributions. That's why he cried when you left. That's why he was pissed when you left. That's why if he would have actually been given the opportunity, he would have squashed you getting the job. Okay, because you were a big part of that show.
Yes.
You weren't the only one.
No.
And you never claimed that.
Never.
So it's weird for me, again, whether it's you, Jackie, Billy, Artie, whoever, to act like that past didn't get the show where it is today and to not celebrate that. And I'm not saying you have to have everybody on the air, but you go look at any other show, sitcom, drama, and I don't care what show it is, the casts are celebrated.
Yeah.
Go look at a Broadway show who have like their cast change every however many years. The casts are celebrated.
Yeah.
Look at like a show like Cheers. You've got Shelley Long, Kirstie Alley.
Yeah.
The casts are celebrated.
Yeah.
Nobody acts like, like somebody wasn't on the show.
No, and that's what he does. He totally. But here's it. Okay. Then now I'll give you some more facts to back up this argument. Rolling Stone did a whole piece on me. What is it? The Celebrity Weekly. What is that? Fucking, I forget. Entertainment Weekly did a whole piece on me. Fucking New York Times did a whole piece on me. All these fucking networks did piece on me. I was a guest on Conan fucking 7 times.
You're the closing credits and private parts.
Yeah.
So I mean, come on.
That's what somebody else tweeted. John, if you meant nothing, then why were you in the movie?
And by the way, the whole premise of you showing up in the credits was, how could you leave me out of the movie? I know I don't appear in the timeline, but you can't leave me out of the movie. So you were so not of value to that show that they had to crowbar you in the credits because people were waiting for you.
And
that's how much you didn't contribute.
And no offense, a lot of people say that was the funniest part of the movie.
I think the funniest parts of the movie was that, and then the Gary segments. But you were 2 guys that didn't fit into the timeline, so they found ways to put you in the movie outside of the narrative.
Yeah,
and those were both funny moments.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a sad thing. I know I'm going. I'm saying the same things over and over again. It's just, I just find it really pathetic that he would just like diminish. When you put 15 years into something, it's like going to high school and then not getting a diploma at the end. You know what I mean? It's like so you put 15 years there and then are on the air. I would say, fucking, let's say 4 hours a week at least. I was on the air, at least.
Listen,
how the fuck could you say that's not a big part of your show?
You can't argue. And I don't mean you, but I mean anybody. Nobody can argue that Howard Stern isn't the greatest radio broadcaster of all time. The Howard Stern Show is the greatest radio show of all time.
Yes.
But it's known, and history will always make sure that it's known for its peak era. And its 2 peak eras were the ones that I mentioned before. When the Beatles were there, you, Jackie, and even back to the days of Billy, and then when Artie came in.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 pillars. That's what everyone's going to remember. No one's going to look back and go, oh, remember the Tan Mom puppet?
No. Or Brent. Or Mehmet.
I will say, though, Benji had a great line the other day. He said that Brent looked like a hard-boiled egg with a beard.
I never saw Brent.
Benji's funny.
No, Benji, I told Benji that he could write for a late-night TV show. Like, I'm different than Howard. I'll give credit where credit is due. Like, Benji's a very talented guy.
Yeah, but there are not people there supporting a guy like that to go out and to do his best.
Hey, look, I'm not a fan of Derek's, but I'll say that he's a talented guy. I mean,
but that's fair.
I'm not gonna like discredit someone's talents. I mean, Howard's done that to me a billion times, but I don't think I could have got of where I got. I've got to the point of I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I must have had some talent to get to where I went.
Look, I put it to you like this: the man gave you an opportunity. You took the opportunity and ran with it. It could have gone the opposite way. You could have gone out there and not gotten a word out, not gotten a good interview, and that would have been it. We wouldn't even know who you are.
And that's Stuttering Vic. They tried to get. There was nobody, but nobody was better at it.
Out here, Gary Garver.
At Boarfest.
Boarfest, yeah, that's putting it mildly.
Yeah, there's nobody better at it than me. And that's not even. And not I'm not. Just the interviews alone. But then you take that's a big chunk. Like, when we talk about, the pillars of my career, you have the Stern Show, the Tonight Show, and then the Trump phone call, right?
Yeah, when the Trump phone call somehow equals all these other things.
But, if you look at the pillars of the Stuttering John emergence, if you will, the arc, whatever, you have the interviews, and then the shit stirring, and then just the pranks.
But that cabbie fight was peak.
Yeah, like all the contests. I mean, then me and Artie were and this sounds maybe a little, but we're like the Abbott and Costello of that show. Artie and I would we would goof on each other nonstop, and we had our own little thing going. Like if one of us would try to crowbar in a joke, and Artie would make the face. Artie's a funny fucking guy, but we would always do the crowbar.
Yeah, like a little sideshow going on.
Yeah, we would always have a side thing going on. When Howard would read those bad fucking pre-written monologues, Artie and I would just look at each other and go, "Oh no," because we were held captive in there. But it was so bad, I wanted to leave. It was so unfunny. Speaking of unfunny, did Howard even talk about it today?
I didn't. I had so much. I woke up this morning, man. I did a day's worth of work before we even sat down here.
Well, here's the reality of it all.
And also, I don't want to listen.
No, and put it this way, this is the most interesting thing he said in the last fucking 2 years was fucking trying to pick pick the scab of Stuttering John, because that's all he did. I mean, here I'll read to you what this guy he DM'd me.
I think that's what I just read, isn't it?
No, this is the one. Clearly, the Howard Stern mafiosos are contacting any Stern-related guests you have on your podcast and telling them to avoid you. Guaranteed. I think Howard could be baiting you into slandering him so he could sue you later. Be very wary of that group because they're obviously listening.
Well, we know they're listening.
I know. And then it's just, and I got to say, out of all the Twitteriots, like, because I went on a Twitter fucking rant, which I did. And I know, look.
I know you drained my battery. I was in meetings all day, and it's like,
But
I'm like, hey, look at this photo.
But you have to understand something, Royce. You know how I work on Twitter.
This guy's like, hey, write this down, and I can't because your tweets are fucking popping up.
I work to engage, and I'm a provocateur.
You have a little mohawk going on up there,
All
too.
right. I'm a provocateur, and
Hence the mohawk.
and I like to get people fucking screaming at me. I swear to God, I get off on it. I love it.
And it's disturbing.
And it is disturbing, but like it's so weird because I was talking to this chick and she's like, I can't stand any of the negative, emails, like in tweets or whatever. And I go, I used to be that way. Now I embrace it. Like I love it. I love when they trash me.
Well, I can tell you like it when you get, like you get a live one,
Yeah.
and then they write back to you, and you write back to them, and you just keep going.
I start calling them, saying they have a fat whore wife. Like it's like, it's like I don't know who their wife is. And then I'll lie and say that my friend banged their wife and then she's cheating on her.
But then you'll go through the cycle of like Aunt Edna, Mom, Dad.
Yeah. I do that. I go, Dad, Mom, Aunt Edna, and then Cousin Eddie. And then if I need another one, Uncle Charlie.
But like they get mad because you're using the same. They're like, oh, same hack line as everyone else. It's like, what are you going to write custom responses to everybody?
No, but then I write back, Uncle Charlie. Like I'll use one that I don't often use because I love it. And I know the Melenders get it. I know you get it because I do it. Like I'll think of you sitting there, like when I'm goofing on Gary. Like I can just think of us like hanging out, smoking a bowl, and fucking and laughing our ass off because it's just so funny. Anything with Gary is funny.
I know, but there's a whole contingent on Twitter that takes it so seriously.
Oh, they can't.
And they're like, John, it's sad. Let it go. You weren't on the show for years. You're like, I'm aware.
Oh, of course. But trust me. And this is true. We have made a conscious effort to not even bring up Howard anymore.
Well, there's really, unless something's worth bringing up, there's no value.
No, and I said to you, like, I said, Royce, look, I know we don't want to talk about him anymore. He's old. It's done. He's irrelevant. But I said, I have to address this.
It's the same thing with Bubba. Bubba reached out to us and said, hey, let's come on my show. And then it was like, well, how do you not talk about this shit?
No, and then, then, of course, in my paranoia, I thought that Bubba, me and you have a problem with Boba and Bubba.
It's Bubba Fett.
But
it's Bubba Fett the Love Sponge.
Yeah.
No, you didn't know this in the original Christmas special.
Yeah.
It was Bubba Fett the Love Sponge.
Okay. Yeah, he was a Magdalorian or whatever.
That's right. It was a stocking stuffer, a little Bubba Fett Love Sponge. You put it in the stocking.
Is it Magdalorian? Is that what it is?
Mandalorian?
Yeah, Mandalorian.
We're going to go down this road again?
No, but I do want to say that I reached out to Ming-Na Wen.
Thank you.
She's so beautiful. But she's going to be away till October 23rd, and she said, hit her up then, and then maybe she said she hates doing podcasts. I go, but you did mine last time. She said, yeah, but it's because you're my friend. I said, well, please, it'll really make mine and my co-host day because they're big Disney and Marvel fans.
And what'd she say?
And then then that was it, and then it was all good. I love Ming. I'll always love Ming.
Maybe we can do a special remote broadcast from Disneyland.
That'd be awesome.
She'll have a line waiting for autographs. But
yeah,
listen, I'm a Disney nerd. I can't help it, man. You told me you were friends with her. I'm like, oh my god.
No, I know. But that's why. Yeah. So anyway, getting back to.
Sorry.
No. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
No. What did I say before? So I thought that Bubba blocked us because like suddenly I sent him a DM and it was gone. And you said that it's weird because it says that we're blocked, but then on another account it says that he's been thrown off.
So I don't know.
So then I text him, and he never texts me back. So then I get into like the paranoid mode.
Yeah, Chicken Little, sky's falling.
Yeah, well, and don't quote Bob Levy, please. Okay, I mean, really.
Is he on our? He's on our list. I can't bring up Bob Levy.
No, you can bring up. No, but I know isn't that funny? And don't ever bring up Ellen DeGeneres again in a negative fashion. And don't bring up Jennifer Aniston.
Hold on, I got to write these down.
Yeah. You're not allowed to bring up that.
Give me the list. I'll just go off of that.
Yeah,
one.
But like,
We should adopt that list.
yeah, and here it is
Hold
though.
on.
But like, here's the thing. You know how for those Stern fans who really think Howard is telling you the truth, he lied to New York Magazine and said that there was no such thing. That he doesn't tell people what to say, and there it is in black, red, and white.
I'm going to hold you to all these now. So
Okay.
I don't want to. You can no longer talk about Scott Einzinger. I don't want to hear you talking about Warner Brothers Telepictures, Ellen, Mike Fleiss.
No.
Don't ever mention CBS Viacom in the
Oh
room
shit!
again.
I can't mention CBS Viacom.
By the way, he mentioned CBS Viacom all the time,
Yeah, but he's allowed to do anything he wants.
had a less
He's the
movement-
emperor. That's where
but it's also
the
from
emperor with no clothes.
2013. We need a revised. We
Yeah,
need a 2019
yeah.
edition.
Hold on.
Gloria.
No, hold on. Hold on. I'm dialing it now.
Oh, now what are you, Carrot Top? Now we got props.
No, I'm on my fucking.
You're
cell
really
phone.
using your phone?
Yeah, I'm calling fucking.
I don't want a voice to
I'm
come
calling
through.
Mem. Oh shit.
Don't-
Hey, Mem. Send me the updated.
Mem.
That's a. Yeah, no, don't worry. That's that's one of my friends. Send me the updated red flag list, please. I want the updated one. Thank you. All right.
I can't believe you just called him on the air.
I had to. I'm
And
sorry,
then you called
Mem.
him Mem?
Yeah, I call him Mem. Or the Walkman cometh. I have all different nicknames. He and I like talk about shit. We have a lot of conversations. Me and my buddy Mehmet. Anyway, so there we have. So that's about it. I don't know what more could I say, Royce. I know I had a couple more things I wanted to say. I don't know. The whole thing is ridiculous.
I don't think you can say any of these things.
I mean, if I was such a non-factor, why did I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here want me to do the show and not Baba Booey, Fred, Jackie, Artie, or anybody else?
Well, they didn't want to take Baba Booey to the wild. That's obvious.
Why? That would be his native habitat.
Yeah, but they weren't doing a Nat Geo biopic.
Oh, Baba Booey in the jungle would be awesome. But did they ever ask any of those guys to do it? No. I mean, not a one.
Well, it goes back to your appearance on The Tonight Show. Why were you on The Tonight Show?
All right, who got to guest star in a sitcom other than Howard, Robin, and myself?
You.
That's it.
But that's my point.
Thank you.
So
Why?
But you
Why
went,
if I'm a nobody?
But you went on The Tonight Show.
Yeah.
Okay, because you were on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Yeah.
You were on that show because you were a celebrity.
Yeah.
So you were known from the show you were on. Then you go on that show and they're like, oh, this guy's good. He should come to our show. Now,
But I have overblown contributions. All right, Royce. Let me ask you a question. If I'm so delusional, why did Howard give me so much shit for taking off more than 2 weeks to do I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here? Now, we all know it's because he was jealous that I got fucking nationally accepted.
I didn't think interns had to ask for days off.
Yeah. Why? If I'm only an intern, you fucking big bird looking freak. If I was just an intern, then why would you get so mad that I took off?
But by the way, if you're just an intern, shouldn't you be compensated for all that work you did over the years?
Yeah, and if I was just an intern, why did I edit a lot of the FMEs all together and fucking do all that work? Why did I edit all the promos together? Why did I write bits, song parodies that you used? Why did why did I write the questions for celebrities and I wrote all the questions for the homeless game? And I produced and edited all that together. Why, if I was just an intern? Why? Royce, I asked you.
And if you were just an intern
Yeah.
with menial contributions, why would they be listening to this podcast and bring it up on the air?
Yeah. And let me ask you another question. Why am I the only one they asked to have a radio show after Howard's show? They didn't ask Baba Booey. They didn't ask fucking Fred. I mean, Fred's got no personality anyway. They didn't ask anybody else. I had like 2 or 3 years of disc jockey experience.
And yet you still phone that show in.
Yeah, I did. I did on the out to lunch one. I definitely, Artie was paying for lunch and I was starving.
You were literally out to lunch on your out to lunch show.
I wasn't even on it.
You did the show in like 10 minutes. You told me.
Yeah, 10 minutes. I did.
I down at Del Frisco's
because they didn't want me to. All they wanted me to do is like fucking play records. I'm like, all right. I would just make up names. Hey, this is from Danny from Queens Park, whatever, and he wants to hear Motorhead. I would just I would make up names like for some friends I have. This is Jiggs asking me right from Plain Edge. He wants to hear Led Zeppelin, fucking No Quarter.
No wonder that show lasted so long. What you 6 months?
No, that lasted about a year. The other one I had lasted longer. I had one for like a year or two. I had like 3 different shows. You know, I had one with Kevin Weatherly. He's the program director here at KROQ. And then I had another one with Julie Slater, where her and I would have a good time. I like Julie. I mean, so I've had quite a few, radio shows. I'm just asking you, if I was such a non-entity on the show, why then did I get a book deal offer, two record deals?
I think it's a rhetorical question.
Well, yeah, it is. But I'm just saying, like,
I know. I just like when you go into the Jay Leno upper register.
Yeah, I just gotta say, why else would it be? I mean, I don't understand how. Like, why can't you just give credit where credit is due? Is it really gonna kill you? I mean, even Jay Leno. Jay Leno had 20 writers there, and he gave us all credit. He said, good job. I mean, Howard's just a fucking narcissistic prick.
Jay Leno's doing 5 shows a day.
Yeah.
Essentially in real time, live to tape.
5 shows a week.
5 shows a week, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. And he's got a third the writers as Howard.
I know. But the difference is Jay Leno has talented people that write. I mean, I have to say, I don't care. I'm not putting Sal or Richard down, but they're not, they couldn't write for a late night TV show.
Yeah, but you're not putting Sal and Richard down because
they're not writers.
But most of that 60 staff member situation came years after those guys. They ramped up that back office staff long after Sal.
But
and
all
Richard.
the Sal and Richard have ever written were just fucking prank phone calls.
By the way, you were so insignificant,
I did prank phone calls when I was 10 years old.
If you were so insignificant, why did they have to have 2 people take your job?
2? No, 4.
Well,
Sal, Richard, JD.
I'm just going off the contest.
No, and then Mehmet. I mean, they've had. Yeah, no, I know. And then Bob Levy. I mean, they had. I mean, yeah, they've had so many people to replace me, and yet they're never going to replace my legacy on that show. And I don't care what Howard says.
They're not going to rewrite it either. There's enough people that know the truth.
Is he going to fucking take the chapters of me out of his books?
Well, he already told the audience to destroy those books.
Yeah, I know. Is he going to take me out of the movie now?
Probably.
I'm just saying, like, how in the world could you sit there with a straight face and say it? And how about you laughing hyena, bloated female flunky, to sit there and go, yeah, that's how he was when he was here. You are such a piece of shit, Robin.
Howard's such a revisionist. Do you think that the special edition of Private Parts, they'll just put Beth in there on top of Allison's picture?
Yeah.